Is it true that you're an MMA fighter?
Yeah, I do MMA training. So I do
Okay.
fight. So I do a lot of sparring, a lot of training, but no fights yet. But we're coming through with them. I was supposed to have a fight in April this year, but obviously with COVID happening in March, there's been a lot of setbacks. But I'm hearing that it's going to open back up in November, the venues, for Sydney. So I'm keen to just get in there and just get bashed up.
Yeah. No, man, we have faith in you. Like it is, and am I right in saying that's an amateur fight?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So
Or I can just jump to pro and then just take the belt straight away. But
yeah.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Unrivaled confidence. Do a little dance at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like start doing dancing after you've won, like a little Israel Adesanya celebration or something like that.
are you a Conor McGregor fan? Yes or no?
All right. This ain't a straightforward answer. All right. The simple answer is yes. Despite everything that man has done, maybe it's the Irish within me, innit? So obviously he holds a place in my heart for what he's done for Ireland, regardless. When I first found out about McGregor was when he beat Dustin Poirier
Yeah.
years ago, before even Poirier was a name. And I remember watching him, and I want to say, I don't know if that was the first one where he went, Dana, 50 G's, baby. I don't know if he did it then, but whatever he said afterwards caught my eye. And I remember going back to like the Marcus Brimage fight and whatever the other one was, the Dennis Seaver one or whatever. And I remember being like, yo, I like this guy. And he's Irish. So you know what? He's going to be my little underground one that no one knows about. He's going to be the one that I follow and support. And the next thing you know, he beat Max Holloway, got to Aldo, whatever, did all of that, and then become like the biggest name in the sport. And at that point, when he beat Eddie Alvarez and become the champ, loved Conor McGregor, like inside and out. And then when he started getting into all of these antics and started doing all of the crazy bus shit and all of that, it's like, I don't like you as a person, but I can't help but tune into everything you're doing. It's like one of those ones, like even though kind of you're the villain in this situation, I'm still rooting for you. And even to this day, I have that affinity with Conor McGregor. Through all of the shit he does, I think he's an arsehole. But I can't help but like him deep down. I can't help it. And again, maybe that's a bit of the Irish within me that kind of connects there. But yeah, ultimately, I'm a Conor McGregor fan, even though I don't want to be. That's my answer.
I reckon he's the man, bro. I love Conor McGregor.
Like, yeah, unrivaled confidence.
That actually I guess molded my confidence into me. Like everyone was a bit iffy on my confidence, and that made me a bit iffy on my confidence as well. But then when Conor McGregor came out and he just had that confidence that led him, I reckon it took him, 50% after the hard work to where he is today. So I was like, man, you know what? Unrivaled confidence.
Unrivaled confidence. Listen, with Conor, in my opinion, yeah, his words did carry him 50%, if not more, of the way in terms of the noise that he was making. But the magic behind Conor was he was able to then win at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was able to predict the round. He was able to do all of that, and I think that's the reason why he propelled and skyrocketed so high. Because he was playing it like it was a game. He was playing it like a video game. He was literally like, right, round one, I'm going, I'm gonna smoke him. Left hand, bang. And he'd go and do it. You know what I mean? Like, and even with the Eddie Alvarez fight, he said, round one, I'd smoke you. And he didn't do it round one, he did it round two. But it was like the cleanest title win, like one of them up there in history. Just like 3 knockdowns, every punch was just so slick. Like, and so with Conor being able to do that, yeah, it was like everyone was just so drawn into him because he would talk all of this shit and then go and back it up. In a sport where it's not so easy to predict who's going to always win. You know, in football, you can kind of gather an idea of who's the better team or not. In basketball, I'm sure it's the same. You kind of know what team's going to win. And yeah, there's a surprise here and there. Of course there is. Everyone has their good and bad days. But in MMA, it's really difficult to predict who's going to win because you're always matched up with someone who's meant to be supposedly at your level. And then you've got the whole styles mix, and then on the night you don't know how much a weight cut's affected them, etc, etc. And so that was the magic behind Conor. So is it fair to say that, so as you said, so Conor McGregor was like an inspiration for you almost?
100%, yeah, 100%. He's actually probably one of my biggest inspirations in terms of like athletes or people up there right now. celebrities. Probably my only one, actually.
Yeah. The only one, I was
Yeah.
just about to ask that then, is there any other like MMA fighters or anything that you ever looked up to in terms of fighting or anything like that, or?
Nah, there was people that kind of are inspirations to our Polynesian community. Like, I don't know if you heard of David Tua, Joseph Parker, Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Polynesian fighters that did pave the way for and put the islanders on the map, I guess. So yeah, you kind of look up to them in a way, but they never really inspired me to take that leap of faith and that next step. It was more Conor McGregor, yeah.
No, I hear that.
So
I hear that.
I'm half Irish now.
Yeah. Half is it Samoan?
Yeah.
So half Irish. Samoan, half Irish now. That's officially what it is.
That's it.
All right.
I've made up.
So, as a fighter yourself, like, could you compare yourself to any other fighters? Like your style of fighting. Have you got any comparisons to make? Like, you got shades of a certain someone, or?
Nah, I can't really say I compare myself to anyone. I've never really thought of that. I just look at myself as better than all of them.
He's got the walk-off KOs like Mark Hunt. He's got the Jose Aldo leg kicks. The Edson Barboza spinning roundhouses. Conor's left hands.
Conor McGregor's left hand.
That's it. Could you imagine Conor McGregor's left hand and like Edson Barboza's leg kicks or something? Imagine that in one. Like, ooh, that's just
Habib's game.
Yeah, Habib's ground game. Cormier's slams. Like, oh. Now we're just creating a whole different beast in itself. Have you I can't lie, I've not been keeping up with the UFC too tough recently. Like there was a point where I was following it, like every fight down to the prelims. I was looking into who they were fighting, where they come up from. I can't lie, there was a point. And recently though, probably since lockdown to be fair, I've not kept up with it the same way. Like I'll look at the results or whatever, but I'm not even checking out the fights anymore. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I don't even buy pay-per-view anymore. Literally all I do is just go on Google, who won? Oh yeah, done. Exit. Yeah. I don't keep up with it, especially no crowd to cheer it on. It doesn't make it that.
You know
that
what?
Exciting.
That's interesting that you mentioned that because I like it and I dislike it. So what was the fight that I loved? It was the Tony Ferguson. Who did he fight? Ferguson. Gaethje fight.
Yeah, Justin Gaethje.
The Justin Gaethje Tony Ferguson fight. I would have loved for there to be a crowd there because that was such a back and forth and such just a stand and blow. Like I wanted the crowd to be there and just hype that up. That would have been so sick. But at the same time, I like there being no audience because you can hear what the coaches are saying. You can hear the impact of the kicks. And in some ways, I like that as well. So it's like this weird, like, I kind of want this option to just turn off the crowd, but I want a crowd to be there. It's like really strange in that way.
No, it's true. Because you can even hear the fighters too sometimes when there's no crowd.
Yeah.
You can hear what they're saying, and it's just like, you can hear even not just the slap of the kick, when they're like, huh!
Yeah. You can hear it when they're taking them body shots and they're wincing. It's crazy, but it makes you realize how hard these guys get hit. Like, obviously, you train in MMA, so you know yourself. Like, for anyone who hasn't seen someone get knocked out, whether it's in like a professional scenario like boxing or MMA, or whether it's a street fight, like you don't realize how scary it is to watch someone get knocked out cold. Like, have you ever seen that in training in camp or anything like that? Have you ever seen a guy just get like flatlined?
100%. And watching it, that makes you a bit like timid when you go in and you spar people. When you go in and you see, like, before I started fighting, with the unrivaled confidence that I had, I thought I could, knock out anyone. So come time when I actually started fighting and I started to learn how to fight out, I was actually sparring guys who knew what they were doing, and I was getting my ass whooped. That's what humbled you. So you watch guys get knocked out in front of you. You watch people who actually know what the fuck they're doing with their hands, their legs. And that humbles you when you walk in the street. Because I used to walk around like I was the man. Like, I walked into a box and I walked out, and now I'm just like, fuck, anyone can knock you out.
yeah, it's true though. Like, honestly, it's true. And MMA fighters and boxers say this all the time. Like, they say the same story as you, kind of walking around thinking they're the man. Even if they start training, they're like, yeah, it's all good. Until you start getting beaten up in training, it humbles you. It makes you realize, rah, I'm not the man. There's always someone out there who's got one up on me. And even the toughest guy in the world, someone stylistically can fuck me up. So you look at someone, and we'll take it as an example, Conor McGregor. Yeah, he can, that left hand can knock out near enough anyone in and around his height, weight and size. But even though he was considered the baddest of that division, then you get someone like a Khabib who can ragdoll you to the floor and you can't do shit about it. And so no matter if you're the baddest person in your specific, in what you specialize in, or if you're all-rounded, there's always going to be someone who can fuck you up in it. And I think something about that does humble you and makes you realize, like, rah, I'm not always as safe as I thought. Like, don't get me wrong, if you train, obviously you know you can handle yourself more than the average person, but that doesn't mean you're invincible.
Yeah, 100%. That's what you learn, is that you're not invincible. And that's what I thought it was, but fucking got a good hiding.
No, unrivaled confidence. No, but I hear that though. Like that's a real sense of confidence. Like when you're also able to be humble at the same time. Like don't mistake confidence for cockiness, because sometimes people can be overconfident and you can just be an arsehole with that. You know what I mean? Real confidence sometimes is that quiet confidence within yourself. Like not the guy who's always out here saying, "Hey, look, if we was getting to a fight right now, best know that I'll knock your lights out." They're the same guys who, more often than you may think, are the guys getting slapped up. Like,
trust.
Like sometimes the loudest people, the most outgoing people, are actually the ones who are most insecure.
100%. And I've said that to people many times who don't understand. Like, I've seen guys who have a big name on the street for fighting, or have just come out and done 5 years or 7 years or 10 years. They come to the boxing gym, they want to learn how to fight, and their ego, because they've been good in the street, they've knocked people out who don't know what the fuck they're doing. They've been inside jail. They come into the boxing ring, try to spar with people who know what they're doing, and they get fucking whooped. And they're walking around in the gym like this first part.
You know that stiff walk there, you're moving your torso at the same time as it. Yeah.
And they're walking like that. And then they walk out like this.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck just happened to me?
Yeah, you see it, man. Even down to the gym. You see big wedge man walking around in the gym. And then you're looking at the way they're lifting them weights, and I'm like, I'm not a wedge man, but even I know that you're not lifting them weights correctly. Even I can recognize there's something not right about that form.
The weights don't mean shit anyway.
Weights don't mean... Listen, some of the baddest people I know do calisthenics. Like, they all body weight shit, and they are not... And they have that balance look about them. Like, they're wedge in it, but they're not them upside down triangles where their waist is tiny and their shoulders are out here, and as you said, they got to walk like this. Like, some of the baddest people I know, yeah, aren't necessarily the biggest people. Like, no, 100%, man. Like, and you get some people who maybe the wedgest guy, they can bench 150, whatever they can do, but they can't run to save their life. They can barely walk. Like, let alone run, you know what I'm saying? So, you get into a fight, skinny man like me is just gonna start jogging down the road. You can't keep up with me, big man. Like, you know, like that, like, alright, fair enough. If we get into a fight, I'm gonna lose, innit? So, I'm just gonna walk off this way and you can't even catch, man. So, yeah, always gotta use your strengths to your advantage, man.
100%.